Hello, it's Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter here. Now, I've been building up my fabric stash behind me, and I'm at the point now where I'm trying to filter out the linen from the 100% cotton, and I'm using that IKEA basket to hold them. When I go to the charity shops and look for garments that I can recycle, I've been particularly on the lookout for linen over the summer because soon they won't appear in the charity shops. Last week I went to Stockton Heath, which is near Warrington. And then I didn't have the energy to do a video last week, so I just took photographs. But I'm going to pick out some interesting perspectives on some of those items that I bought last week then and tell you what to look out for. In particular, this first item, I'd bought this dress. It was a linen dress made for Next, and I've had this same dress. I've got it in 3 different colourways now, but when I was cutting off the patch pockets, because it had been so well sewn in, it actually left holes in the fabric. So I've decided to leave those patch pockets where they are and make use of them as ready sewn in pockets. Let me show you what I mean. This is the item. So this time I've decided to leave those patch pockets alone. There is a seam down the middle of here, so that will determine the size of the bag I might make. Nice pockets though. Now you could do the same concept with jeans. This is what the linen garments look like when they're broken down, and I must admit that this wasn't linen. It was a very soft brushed cotton, so I'll treat that differently. I find it helpful if I've got a visual aid so I can remember where I put things. And I kept this Korean ginseng tea box, which is quite deep and gold. And I keep it for my reclaimed braids and pom-poms. And you'll recognise these from some of the items that I've shown you over the past few months. Love the pom-poms, don't you? You've got to love a pom-pom. It wasn't just linen that I found either. I found these two items and these were cotton. And the reason that I bought them is for the colour and the quality of the cotton in these fabrics. And on the dress, I think if I can get in closely before I take it apart, I'll show you that there's also some beadwork on it, and I'll recycle those too. And today I've been to Saltney near the Neurotherapy Centre and I've shopped at Bernardo's there. This very pretty sleeveless tunic top from Bon Marché. There's a few pearly buttons on the front, mother of pearl buttons on the front. I paid £3.50. Because it's a size 22, that back piece is all just one piece. There's no darts in it, there is a little bit of flare in it, and then there's also long ties. And I'll leave the ties alone. I won't unpick those ties because I might be able to make use of them as ties. But that's a really pretty pattern design. I got a bit of a surprise when I found this skirt because it's two large pieces of beige linen just sewn together with a side seam with a waistband attached at the top. And then I got a surprise when I looked to find out how far that lining went. And the surprise is that the lining keeps going. It's actually a cream linen lining that goes right the way up to this waistband here. So in fact, I've got 4 thicknesses of linen here. So it's 2 skirts in one. Well, the back has been split with a seam and there's a zip, which means that the lining will be split with a seam and a split for the zip. Also 2 ties for the waist, which I will leave as ties because they're quite long. They're about 18 inches long and I've got 2 of them. The skirt is made by a company called Joie de Vivre and I only paid £4 for it. This is a skirt that's linen, it's unlined, it's by Peruna and it fixes with a side zip. However, it's A-line, it's panelled, and each of the pieces, these are not pleats. This is a pleat fold over, but it's actually individual pieces sewn together. So once I take this apart, I've measured this and it will measure 2 inches across. Now that will give me a good piece of fabric if I want to do some binding or some sashing. It does widen out to about 4 inches at the bottom, but it's this bit that's interesting to me. So you need to consider how much unpicking it's going to take and whether it's going to be worth my time and effort and actually it was the jade colour of this that I wanted, and then the price persuaded me. It was £4. This is a very simple, clean white linen dress, but as you can see, there's a cut from the shoulder down. There's a seam down the centre with a little bit of binding, and then there's more binding and it goes into a long bordered hem. Now that means I can't get long swathes of fabric, but I can get probably a 10-inch block from that long length, and that makes it worthwhile. It needs a wash, but that isn't a problem for me. It was a size 8, £4.50 from Bernardo's. Just to make a point, this was the next dress that I've unpicked last week, and you can see the weave is tighter than this dress, and the colour variant will show across a quilt if I'm using more than one piece of garment in a quilt that I make. When you're considering the two fabrics together, it's not just the colour, it's also the quality of the fabric, the blend of the fabric. If it's not 100% linen, what was it blended with, and what is the weave. Difference in the weave, colour, blend will all make a difference in your patchwork quilting. And finally, a blue and white floral cotton shirt that will blend beautifully with navy, a plain dark navy. And you can see this is one where there's a contrast at the collar and at the cuffs. So you can see just how great just a simple dot fabric contrasts with that. And I've used that contrast in quilts before that I've made. This is long sleeve size large, made for F&F, which is Tesco. On the back there's a yoke and no fold and no darts, and long wide sleeves when I open those out. So there's a lot of fabric there for me for £4. I watched the film Alfie with Jude Law last night, and one of the things was he wore a sharp suit with a pink shirt, and he said men can get away with wearing pink shirts these days, which certainly can. They can certainly get away with wearing these florals. All the better for us for recycling, because that's a beautiful quality and a beautiful design. I'm planning to go away over the bank holiday weekend for a few nights in a hotel, and I'm by myself, and I always like to take some sewing with me. I actually might take some of these garments, and now that I've got a car again, I can actually do that. The other thing is there are some great charity shops down Lord Street, and I feel them calling to me. I'll show you next week if I manage to find anything and get any bargains there. For now, this is Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter, unpicking linen while watching romantic movies, and Jude Law did a really good rendition of playing Alfie, the character created by Michael Caine in the 60s. I'm now on the lookout to see if I can get a copy of that original Michael Caine film. Right, whatever you do, enjoy your weekend. This is Maggie, the Cheshire Crafter. Come back and join me again soon, won't you? Bye.